Morning all, how we doing? Morning Steve. Hopefully my mic's okay this morning after my trip in an aeroplane yesterday. Basically I just reinstalled the firmware on the mic and it seems to be okay now. Although the mic seems a little bit down volume wise on the pickup, but I don't know. But let me know if it's okay, you can hear me all right. Hopefully you can. Excuse me. Yesterday, just a quick recap yesterday to start off with. Basically being kept alive by the indices and oil at the moment. Morning Diamond. Where are we? 9th. So closed out a DAX yesterday. One from last Wednesday. Basically as we pushed down into this sort of high, that's where the TP was, so TP'd on that yesterday, and had a US dollar CAD close out at break even. What was that? Don't know what that was. Anyway, ignore that one. Don't know what it was. Oil closed out 2 positions on that one. Sorry, closed out 1 position on that one yesterday, which was here. And then I closed out this one, which was the second position I took on yesterday. I took one there, actually the first position I took on yesterday. And then I took another one with the EA. I closed that one out at break even because these two were too close together. So it's just an attempt to get some quick profit basically as we pushed up there, but it's come down and taken me out. So stopped out on that one for a break even this morning. So yesterday was pretty good. Managed to bank just under 1% yesterday, so up from 2.26 on the week. Almost hit target for the week on Wednesday, which is lovely. You can hardly hear me. Oh, this mic's doing my head in. Excuse me. I don't know what to do about the mic. Where can I go? Hang on. Sound. Microphone. Input volume. There we go. That's too much. Let me just turn that down to there. Turn that up to there. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Let me know if that's better. See now, if from what I can see now in the pickup, we've got that background noise back again. If I put that down to 80, does that sound alright? Yeah? Good. I don't know. I'm not an audio specialist. Right, so yeah, so that's what I banked yesterday. So 8.8 on the month so far, which is lovely. If this carries on, I'm on target to beat last month, which would be amazing. 20% months don't come along very often. 2 of them on a trot. Very unusual, but hey, never know. Positions open at the moment. I've got, let me just move tick strike out of the way for a minute. As you can see there, same as yesterday. I've got DAX on, oil on. I've got 1, 2, 3 positions, 4, 5 positions on oil. 5? Why have I got 5? Pending order. Oh yeah. Yeah, so I've got 5 positions on oil, which I'm quite comfortable with on oil, down at this level. Let's move that away from 85 to 90 level. Just the CPU fan. CPU fan's not that loud, and it's under my desk. Maybe it is. I can't turn the CPU fan off, obviously, to test that theory, but yeah. I am in a box, my office, so yeah, I don't know. So yeah, oil, quite comfortable with oil, down at the 85 to 90 level, waiting for it to push. I've got one on the DAX at the moment, just the one, because I took that one off yesterday. Looking for that to drop today. We've gapped down, we've got a slight gap fill to do this morning, but yeah, DAX is starting to roll over nicely as well. We've broken down through potential support, which is good. We've come up, used it as resistance a couple of times and pushed down, so I'm hoping for a challenge on these lows, this support here today. Get out of that one. US dollar CAD, still not gone anywhere, still sideways, still stuck in it. Nothing I can do. I'm within an ADR, it's just not going anywhere, so I'm just waiting for the US dollar to move. We've got news today, so fingers crossed that'll happen. And we've got pound US dollar short again, just waiting for some movement on this. We've come back down into this balance at the moment, which we've tested and we're stuck on the highs of. So difficult one at the minute, waiting on US dollar strength, which we're not getting, so I don't know, we'll see. But again, it's within an ADR, not far. I just need an ADR push basically, and then I'll decide what I want to do. I've milked quite a lot of profit out of this one already. I have all of my trades, they've all paid me handsomely, just not moved anywhere, so which is lovely. We've got nothing on ADRs. All we've got on the monthly is the US dollar yen. There's nothing on the hourlies, and there's very little on the 4 hourlies. The Euro Swiss on the daily is extended, but it's extended to the downside, and I'm looking for shorts on it, so not really interested in that one. The Swiss yen and the pound Swiss. The pound Swiss. I like short, obviously. I like the pound short, and I like the Swiss long and the yen short. So this is the one that I got out of yesterday. Traded all that, didn't I? So I got in there and scaled in and out. I don't want to short this, so I'm not interested in that one. The pound Swiss has broken down below this support. And it looks like it's running for it. It's basically Swiss franc strength that we've got coming through at the moment. So I'm not really interested in mean reverting that because I'm biased short on the pound. So there's very little mean reversion coming up at the moment because nothing's actually moving far enough to get anywhere. So, morning Fabio. So yeah, it's all a bit meh at the moment with everything. So looking for trend-based opportunities still. We'll whiz through all the pairs in a minute and see if we can find some opportunities to get into. We've got some news today finally. So we've got CPIs this afternoon on the US dollar. Fingers crossed that sends the US dollar skyward and I can get out my pound US and US CAD positions. Failing that, we've got PPI tomorrow, and failing that, we've got University of Michigan on Friday. So there is US dollar news coming in, and we've got GDP for the pound on Friday. So a bit of negative action starting price. Is that the market open, really? That it? Small opening range on the DAX. There's a tiny little gap fill to do, but that's the way I see it going. So yeah, nothing much on the RSI dashes at all to look at. So there hasn't been for a while. It's just dead at the minute. It's flat. Summer trading. Just got to try and trade the money where you can. So most of the money that I'm producing at the moment is all being milked out of oil and the DAX. And for those, what I mentioned in the Telegram group yesterday, I'm slightly over leveraged on these. ever so slightly, not massively, but I've upped my risk on those two basically with the EA. So normally I run at 0.25% on half an ADR. I'm running at 0.5, so I'm running at double the risk on oil and on the DAX at the moment, just to get some money basically. So that's why I've got a little bit more drawdown at the moment on this than you would normally expect. I've got 2.7% because it's double risk, so I would actually be in around about 1.5% on that, 1.3% or something like that. So that's why I'm in a little bit more drawdown than normal, just because of the double exposure there. But need to do it at the moment. Got to get the money out of the market somewhere, and the FX pairs are just not moving enough. So milk what's moving basically. Morning Neo, morning Sean. So we'll have a whiz through all the pairs. As I say, news this morning. Just get the out of the way. News this morning, this afternoon rather, we got 130 for the CPI figures. CPI historically has been positive, which is good for us because, well, for me, I'm looking for positive US movement. So I'm hoping that we're going to get as expected or positive result again today. The majority comes out as positive, or has been recently. So we should hopefully get some movement. They are forecasting a drop. I don't think that's going to happen. That's a very pie in the sky kind of forecast as well, I think. So I think that will come out bigger than expected. So we should get some decent positive movement off of that, hopefully. It seems like your volume is a bit down. I can't hear properly. No, it's up now. My volume is spiking in the yellow, basically, which is where it should be. I can teeter it up a little bit. If I go too far, it goes red. I had that problem with the mic yesterday, but whoops. I mean, I can move it up a little bit more, but then I go into the red, so that's probably distorting, isn't it? I can't hear myself, so let me put it on 90. Actually, if I put it on 95, then I've got more control here, haven't I, for fine-tuning. But you see, that now gives me more pickup there. If I go there, that drops that. I don't know. I'm not an audio man. I don't know what to say. I'll watch it back and see how I sound. Right, so whizzing through the pairs. We'll start off with the indices. Oh, by the way, everybody's been talking about proper valuations and proper counts this morning in the group. Not everybody, a couple of people. I've got my Forex fund 100k account, and I've got my Apex futures account just about. If you remember, before I went on holiday, I was going for another 2 evaluations. It's still softer than usual, is it? All right, okay. $90 sounded good, did it? Let me put it back on 90. There we go. That's on 90. Hopefully that's all right. Yeah, so I've got one main Apex which I've had now for a couple of months, which is getting to the point where I can do a full withdrawal. And then I had multiple evaluations going. I managed to get through 2 of those second evaluations for 50k accounts. One of those accounts is sitting in just under 2k drawdown at the moment. So I'm likely to blow that one. So I've got those 2 Apexes, and I've got my Forex funds, which I trade manually basically. I dip in and out of it. And the way that I manage my funded accounts is I don't trade them very often. I do sessions on them every now and again, and when I get up to 2 or 3k, I stop, wait for the payday, get the pay, and then withdraw it. So the problem I think most people have with a funded account is if you're using it as your only account, a funded account, you are tempted to try and go for targets and overtrade the account, and what that ends up doing is blowing the account, because you revenge trade when you have a couple of losses and then it all goes wrong. As we know, everybody does it. The advantage I've got obviously is I've got my own personal account which I trade as my main account, and then I've got my funded account which I can dip in and out of, so there's no emotional connection to that funded account for me. I don't need it to pay my bills, so I dip in and out of it, and I try to get 2 or 3k, 4k. I had 15k out of it 2 months ago. I had a fantastic month on it, but I was trading it a lot more, but if I carried on doing that, I would blow it. And the cycle basically is you go through the evaluation, you fail the evaluation, then finally you get the account. And what most people do is within 30 days, they then blow that account. Then they go back to step 1. And you rinse and repeat that process. And eventually you'll get to a point where you'll get to a payout, and then you'll get that payout and you'll try and repeat it, and then you'll blow the account and go back to step 1. Start again and do the same process. And it's this never-ending cycle of doing evaluations, getting the funded accounts, either getting paid or not getting paid, and going back to step 1. The key is to spend $1,000 or whatever it is on the evaluations, get your account traded up to 3k or 5k or whatever you want, and stop trading the thing. Wait till you've got to the payday, extract that money, and then start trading it again. And you keep that account for as long as you can, and make money out of it until you blow it. And that's the way you manage these accounts, because as I said in the Telegram group this morning, you cannot keep a funded account indefinitely. This is why there is something, I think the stats are 1% of people that pass evaluations, that's 1% of people that get a funded account keep their account for 3 months. 1%. Let's say 10,000 traders or 1,000 traders go through evaluation. There'll only be something like 50 of them will pass it. Only 5 of those will actually keep those accounts for a month. The statistics are ridiculous. If you go into a stadium full of people, there'll be 3 guys in there that could possibly trade for 3 months without blowing an account. And that includes professional traders, because we cannot stay within a 5% drawdown. You just can't do it, because the market doesn't let you do that. You're going to have a trading. If you've got a trading system that's has a 50% strike rate with a 2-to-1 risk reward, yeah, 50% of your trades are going to go wrong. Let's say you take 50 trades a month, yeah. Statistically, 25 of those trades, right, are going to fail, and 25 of them are going to win. If you risk 1% on a trade, you're going into 25% drawdown. Yeah. You've only got a 5% drawdown limit, or 5% daily, or 12% overall. You're going to blow it at some point. The best system or strategy in the world with a 70% strike rate is going to have a 30 losing trades out of 100 a month. 10 of those are going to happen at the same time. If you're risking 1%, likelihood is you're going to blow it. Because after you've done 6 losing trades, you're going to go a little bit tilt, and you're going to go over a little bit on your leverage, and the next one's going to blow your account. That's just the way trading goes, which is why I like trading my own account. If we're going to 15-20% drawdown on it, I don't care. It's my money. Do what I like with it, because I've traded long enough to know that that will come back. But funded accounts don't work that way. So the key is to keep them. So to cut a long story short, because I'm rambling, what I was going to do was set up a My Forex Funds account, another one, and go through an evaluation with the EA. So use very high probability, low drawdown strategies with the EA, and just let that run the account. And see if we can get that passed automatically with the EA. So I'm going to set that up hopefully today or tomorrow, and then I'm just going to do some analysis with the EA and to see what strategies I want to use on it. Mean reversion at the moment is obviously going to be tricky because we're not getting any opportunities on mean reversion, so it's going to have to be trend-based strategies or ADRs, I think. So I will do that. And we'll basically just try and pass the evaluation. And even if it fails the evaluation, it's a good demonstration of what you need to do in the evaluation, basically. So going 100% hands-off with the EA means basically I'm not involved whatsoever. But I will probably step in every now and again. So that's the plan anyway. So for those of you that were talking about that this morning, I will set up an evaluation and we'll go through it in the live room. And we'll check it every day. Morning, Sammy. I remember correctly, you are using Forex. Yep. Forex machinist screaming in. Screaming? What? I'll be that 1%, yeah. Is it true that you can only withdraw for free twice per month? You can only withdraw twice a month. It depends. On Apex, you cannot do a full withdrawal for 3 months. On Apex, you can only withdraw $1,000 in month 1 and $2,000 in month 2, and then a full withdrawal in month 3. So for Apex, for futures trading, you've got to keep your account for 3 months before you can get your money. They're not stupid. They know that only 1% of people that actually pass evaluations keep their accounts for 3 months. They only pay out 1% of their traders, ever. It's hard. Yeah, you don't see this until you've been funded for a while with multiple accounts. How difficult it actually is to get money out of the funded. Which is why I like my Forex funds. Every 2 weeks there's a button that appears that says payout, and I pay out. They're the best company out there as far as I'm concerned at the moment, my Forex funds. 1-step evaluation, nice rules, daily drawdown limit, not trailing, payout button. It's just simple. Account funded, literally you pass the evaluation, you press a button, 10 minutes later you're funded. It's just, they've got it sorted. And they're not expensive either. So, my Forex funds. There's a link on the website to them. I have a 1% chance of winning an evaluation. If I then pay one for 99 times and then one more, I'll pass the evaluation. Armin's right now. Okay. Yeah, it's hard work, tell you. Yeah, Sammy and I got the new mouse that adds 95% accurate. Yeah, you need a gaming mouse to trade with, at least $100 gaming mouse, because it really improves your accuracy. I can vouch for that. I'm running a Razer. Anyway, enough of that rubbish. Right. So, that's where I am, situation-wise. So yeah, I'll get that account set up today, and I'm not going to start the evaluation until I've done a bit of back testing with the EA. I'm tempted to put a hedging strategy on there as well, because the hedging strategy gets you constant money, and then I can deal with the drawdown on that manually, but we'll see. Right, so whizzing through the pairs, which is all I'm going to do today, because there is very little else going on the dashes. Yeah, Forex Machinist, you got a $70 mouse. That's not expensive enough. You're not a true trader unless you spend $100 on a mouse. I'm sorry. I don't actually know what mine was. I've got a Razer Daytradr Elite. Which has got cool LEDs and stuff. But it's really weird. You look at mice when you're going to buy a mouse. And I picked one that had the LEDs and you can control the LEDs and have all sorts of stuff. You don't realise until you actually get the mouse, your hand's on top of it, you can't see the LEDs because your hand's on top of the mouse all the time. And when do you ever look at your mouse? It's just pointless. Anyway, pound Swiss. We'll start with pound Swiss then. So yeah, pound Swiss basically, as I said, that was the only 4-hour extension, apart from the Swiss yen. I'm short pound. I don't want to long the pound. It's likely to have a pullback, but I get the feeling the danger you have here, if you scroll out a long way, is we've got nowhere to go on this. It's basically free fall from there to there. Yeah, it's clear sky, no support resistance levels at all. I don't know. You look at this drop here. This is a daily chart. That's potentially what you're walking into. Something like probably 5 ADR from where you are. So 3,800 on 100 ADR. Oh my god, it's way more than that. Yeah, it's a lot. That's nice. 3 ADR, isn't it? 387. So about 4 ADR. You've got 4 ADR drop potentially on that. So I don't like it. The fact that it's broken out here. If this closes back above there on the 4 hour, we're going to potentially come back into this range, and this is just a liquidity run down here. I still like it short though. The Swiss is strong based on rates. The pound is weak, so I just don't like it as a long. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm getting really good at results using supply and demand with candlestick patterns with breakers for entry. Cool. Yeah, supply and demand, support and resistance, whatever you want to call it. It's basically what I've just drawn on my chart here. Yeah, this is the same stuff. If you want to draw it as a line, or you could draw it as a supply zone and a demand zone. Call it what you like. At the end of the day, it's support and resistance. It's a place where price has moved to and is likely to react from. It's all the same stuff. Everything's the same stuff with different names. People can't sell courses if they can't rename something to something else. That's why we have so many names for everything that's exactly the same. That's why we have so many indicators that do exactly the same thing. Because people make up a new indicator out of another indicator that tells them exactly the same thing, because then they can sell that indicator. Which is why I created this, because this is new. It's not new. This market structure is not new, but there's nothing out there that tells you about market structure like this does. So, you know, this is unique. It's different to everything else. But yeah, supply and demand, support resistance. It's all the same thing. And like I keep saying, you know, we take trades at logical areas. Yeah, that's a logical area to take along. But I want the bias with me, which it isn't at the minute. So that's about 2.5% actually. Yeah, trend trading, of course. Does make sense. Liquidity run. Morning, Trevor. Yeah. So yeah, this is the liquidity run. Yeah, potentially. A stop run on a 4-hour chart is usually half an ADR, which is 46 pips in this case. We are at 28. So you're looking at somewhere around 148.30-ish, possibly, for a push down and then a push back. So when you're doing a liquidity run on a low time frame, it can be kind of to the pip or a couple of pips above, 5 pips above maybe. When you're running a 4-hour time frame or a daily time frame, the liquidity is not sitting on the pip, it's sitting under somewhere, and there's a lot of different levels that people will put their stops at. So you tend to get roughly half an ADR, 46 pips in this case, as a liquidity run, and then they break back above and push up. But I'm not expecting this to push up, I'm expecting this to pull back and drop. So by all means take it, but you know, it is just extended. It's only just extended. Yeah, look at where you could go from being only just extended to very extended. Yeah. And then look at the daily chart. So, you know, just be prepared for some drawdown on it. There's no news on the pound or the Swiss. Oh, actually, no, there's pound GDP, sorry, on Friday. So, yeah, all you need is a pullback. That's exactly the way to look at it. It's always the way you look at it. Everything that I'm in. All I need is a pullback. Yeah, look at this oil at the moment. It's pushing down at the moment. All I need is a pullback, and I'm virtually out of that trade. If I get a double top, I'm out with a profit. I'm expecting it to go that way, but obviously all you ever need is a pullback. If you're longing, all you need is a pullback and you're out. It's the beauty of position trading. So running through the indices to start with. I'm waffling today because there's not a lot to talk about. So DAX yesterday we had a very nice push down off of that nice inside bar rejection that we had the day before. So we put in a lovely down day yesterday. We broke that low. We're heading down to the lows of the previous week, which is actually there. Sorry, not there. That's the low of the previous week, which is where my TP is, just above that level. So that's where I'm aiming for. And I'm expecting obviously this rollover now to start. All indices are looking the same. We're tired. We've pushed up on the earnings reports. The gap fill has been completed on the DAX. Everything's just getting ready for that rollover. This week we are starting that rollover. So you can basically short any pops at the moment is kind of the plan with any of the indices. NASDAQ, beautiful reaction off the 200, which is short of the recent potential area of resistance. But as I say, we've had this big nice run up on earnings fortnight, and now we've had the reversal on the daily. So it's down from here, I suspect. And the same with the S&P. The S&P hasn't done quite as well. The NASDAQ had a bigger push based off of NVIDIA. So we've got this control candle at the moment, which is in control, obviously, because it's a control candle. So until we break that low there, we are in a range at the moment still. You can see how much contraction there's been. We've had these big, strong candles out of earnings fortnight and all the earnings coming in, and now all of a sudden our bodies are getting tiny. So the bodies are getting a lot smaller now. We're contracting, ready for that next move, which should, if we're going to continue in the bear trend, start down from here. So everything's looking good for shorts. So I'm on my futures account. I'm looking to fade value area highs and take breakouts on value area lows and low of days. So I'm basically short biased. Hopefully it's not going to come biting in the bum, but yeah, short biased totally on the indices at the minute. Bitcoin, you should be doing the same. Oil, still hovering. Again, control candle wise, we've got this one here, which I'm not going to be able to draw. Yeah, so that high there, basically, and that low. So that is your kind of control candle on the daily. We are accumulating within that area at the moment. So we pushed up into the top of control candle and rejected yesterday. We're just in a pullback at the minute. So this area here, we're looking to build a position ready for the breakout long, which is what I'm doing. So yeah, just waiting basically on oil for movement to the upside. But at the moment, it looked like it was going this week. We got the oil news yesterday where the pipeline's been shut. Russia's shut off one of the pipelines. And obviously we had a big spike on, well, not a big spike, we had a bit of a spike on oil. You would assume oil price is going to rise when there's less supply. So yeah, just pulling back at the moment, waiting for that next move to the upside. I don't think we're going to continue lower, but we have got this support here at the 86 level. I think that's 86. God, eyeballs. God. Yeah, 86.45. God, blurry eyes today. Potentially to come down and test. I don't think we'll close on that level. I think we may come and test that level. In which case, obviously, I will scale in again, and that'll be down at ADR today. So just be aware of that today. Oil has got a level lower potentially to test, and then hopefully from there we'll get that rejection and move back to the upside. How do I enable the pointer to see how many pips a distance is? Click your middle mouse button, and you'll turn into a crosshair, or hit Control F on your keyboard, and then just click and drag. Control F does the same. and this measures in pipettes. So you can see this is moving. The left one is number of candles, middle is distance in pipettes, and right is, what's right? Oh, that's price level. Yeah, that's the price. Sorry. So this is 45 ADR, and you see that's measuring there like 819. So that's 81. So you take a number off the end. You're on a Mac. Well, that's stupid. Apple F. For you, it'll be Apple F. I think. I don't know. Check. Hit Apple F and see what happens. But that should turn you into a crosshair. So that's oil. Gold, I don't really know. I'm short bias on it purely on US dollar strength, but we're not getting it. So I'm interested in CPI figures this afternoon, PPI and CPI, to see if we can get some strength on the US dollar. If we don't get strength off those two this afternoon, MAC is superior. Only in price and exterior manufacturing quality. Operating system, bleh. Compatibility with everything else, bleh. Tell my wife to try and find her photos. Impossible. They're hidden. Securely locked away somewhere where she can't get hold of them. On my PC, I open a file and I click and drag stuff and I can see everything. They are not superior. They look good, I'll give them that. That's the debate that will never end, the Mac and the PC. Same as Betamax and VHS. One of them's going to win. Betamax and VHS. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're way too young. It's what we used to do when we went to Blockbusters on a Friday. Have a choice, Betamax or VHS. Gold, yeah, down based on US dollar strength. We're coming up at the moment into support resistance. Potentially somewhere around there. But if we are going to get US dollar strength, we should see gold continue to drop. So it's all going to be down to that, and this afternoon is going to be the telltale, really, as to whether or not we're going to get it. So whizzing through the pairs. So I'm looking for some exposure, some more exposure. So at the moment I've got pound and US dollar only, and Canadian dollar. So I'm only exposed at the minute on those three. I've got 2 long US, 1 short pound, 1 short CAD. So I'm looking to get some more exposure on the euro, potentially the yen, and any of the Aussies at the minute. I've got plenty of exposure available. I just can't find any setups. So, Diamond, you're a Mac, but you're a PC when you're trading. Yeah, exactly. You can get a PC. I've had this question many times. What spec should my trading PC be? Whatever you want it to be. It's a trading PC. It runs one piece of software, MT4, and MT4 doesn't use graphics, doesn't use a GPU. So just get the cheapest laptop you can with an i5 processor, 8 or 16 gig of RAM, and a couple of gig of graphics cards. You can pick one of those up for $300, $400, pound, whatever. They're not expensive. If you want to trade, you need one screen, ideally, and then that's it. Cheap as chips. Macs just don't work very well with MT4, unfortunately. Use them for everything else, but just trade on a PC. Aussie dollar CAD. I kind of like it short at the moment. Would I mind looking at silver? I think there would be a nice long chance around 1950 to that. 1950. I mean, basically, this is just another US dollar cross. So, what's your bias? The question, whenever you're trading gold or silver, or ZAR, or US dollar yen, US dollar Swiss, they're just US dollar crosses. at the end of the day. So what's your bias on the US dollar? That should tell you which direction you're going to trade in. If you've got a bias short on the US dollar, you shouldn't be taking long. Oh, you should be taking long down there, yeah, sorry. 19,500, wherever you want, yeah. If you've got a bias long on the US dollar, you should be looking for short opportunities. I don't trade silver. I don't think I've ever entered a trade on silver in my life. But it's the same as gold. If you look at it, I mean, there's no difference, is there? Really, it's the same pair because it's a US dollar cross. It's a metal US dollar cross. So there's little difference between the two. There's some support there, some resistance there. There's some resistance there. There's some resistance where you're turning now. That's the strongest level. We've rejected it. So your play is either that or that. I don't know. One or the other, isn't it? But if you're looking to take a long, I would say somewhere around 19,480 to 19,400. You could play it off of this low, but it's a zone, you know, support resistance is a zone. So it's this low where that stopped there and these highs here. So this high here is where I would class as being probably the bottom of that zone. So it's drawn from there, there, and all of this stuff in here. So an entry out of there, yeah, potentially. Or just short it here. Short it down to there and then take your long from there. If you think there's an entry there, why not just short it down to there? And if it slams through your entry, you are quids in, aren't you? Don't know. I don't trade the metals at all, so not the best place to really. But from a technical point of view, that's what I would be looking at. Aussie dollar CAD short. Where it is now is a good spot. I'm unfortunately short on the CAD, so if I take an Aussie CAD short, I'm going to hedge myself. So I don't want to do that, but I still like this short. So if I really like where this is, purely from the fact that we've pushed up out of the 72, we've made new lows, double bottomed, came back up, made a new lower high. I think we're probably coming down into this area to retest this area balance down here at some point. So I'm looking, I like it short from where it is all the way up here, all the way down to somewhere around here to put in a new low. So the market structure shift, whoops, would be there. But it hedges me with, and the trouble is I've got this US dollar CAD position which I've been stuck in for ages because US dollar's stuck. But I would take that as a short. I like it a lot. I like the rejection on the wicks as well. If you come down, there's a lot where we got to these highs and we turned and fled. We came back up and retested, big rejection, tried again, big rejection, and since we've had those two wicks to the upside, as we did there, we've had wick after wick after wick after wick after wick to the upside. It's so wicky to the upside. Every push is being rejected and hammered back down by the sellers. So there's a lot of weight coming on this, and I think at some point it's just going to pop and we're going to get another flush out. And it could well be on the US dollar news. You know, everything moves on the US dollar news because people are repositioning their US dollar portfolios. So you'll have everything, you know, people will be pulling money and pushing money in and out of the Aussie and the CAD and the pound and the euro when the US news comes out. So you'll find a lot of movement everywhere. But I like this as a short. It's lovely. It's a lovely trender at the moment. And it's pulling back to the 72. So it's just in a really, really good spot. Made a nice new low there. So market structure obviously is very short on this. Should well continue. I think. No reason why CAD should weaken, and we are expecting potentially more oil pressure and more movement up in oil, which will help the Canadian dollar. So Aussie Swiss I also like as a short. I've missed this. I've missed the boat on this one. The entry was on Monday. But yeah, I had Swiss franc on with the yen on Monday. So, but yeah, I like that as a short. Break of this last week's low, potentially, is where we'll get the next leg down, sort of down to these lows, or possibly down to these lows. So you've got potentially sort of 45 to 120 pip move to the downside. So roughly half an ADR to 2 ADR move potentially on this. So I like that as a short Aussie dollar Swiss. But it's a little late for me. I don't want to be getting in down at these lows because there is potential for that kind of movement. So if we push back up into that area, potentially be looking for a short there. There is potential for us to contract, and if we contract, then I'll be looking for short opportunities. Aussie dollar yen, I don't like any of these yens. They're rolling over very nicely, especially this one in the propulsion gap. I just don't trust the yen at the minute, which is why I got out my Swiss yen. So I don't know what to do with the yen, and I'm just staying out of it. It looks to me as if it's continuing in its downward channel. So somewhere up here is where we should be looking for shorts. In which case then the Swiss yen is probably the best, but fundamentally I like everything long against the yen, so I'm a bit conflicted as to what to do with this at the minute. So it's kind of sitting in the middle of the range. It's just not quite in the right spot. I've not really got the bias long on the US dollar to push it down there first. With the silver, yeah, it's US dollar is very difficult to get a bias on. Everything is difficult to get a bias on at the moment, but US dollar specifically, because it seems it seems to me like within a couple of weeks the Fed was bullish, and then it suddenly went actually, and now all of a sudden we're like, yeah, it's not looking good, guys. And it's like all happened within a couple of weeks, and this was after we'd had a 4 or 5 week accumulation on the US dollar. So I think I'm kind of neutral US dollar at the minute. I don't know which way to read it. So therefore, obviously, with your gold and your silver trades, hard to read. Aussie dollar yen M15 retest, yeah. For a long, yeah. But it's also short. I mean, you've got, whenever you see that, yeah, you see a reversal alert followed by a reversal alert, or a support rectangle after a reversal alert in very close proximity, that is telling you you're in a range. Not interested. I'm interested in reversal alerts that happen after a push, which is the start of either a pullback or a reversal. I'm not interested in reversal alerts in an accumulation. It's just an accumulation. You're going to get hundreds of these. You're going to get loads of reversal alerts over and over again. They're just going to get invalidated over and over again because we're not moving. Yeah, we're trying to use this indicator to tell us when market structure is shifting, not when it's in a range. Which is why we incorporate the RSI to tell us that we've had strength in one direction and a reversal is potentially happening. A flat RSI with a reversal alert doesn't mean anything. But Aussie yen, I can't pick a trend on it at all at the minute. Was up, but it's been totally sideways for months now, so difficult one. Aussie New Zealand I like long. We're getting down. Oh, we just had a reversal out on it as well. So we're getting down to the levels I'm interested in on the Aussie New Zealand. So if we look at this on the 4 hour, you may remember I was trading this back here. I was trading it long and long and long and milked it and milked it and milked it. And I finally went, screw this, I'm getting out, because I just made loads of money out of it and thought this is never going to break. I exited there, it pulled back, and then it flew. Which is my TPs, if you remember rightly, on all of the positions I took here were up here. It's just one of those ones that just I got fed up with it. I was tied up in it. It's a low ADR. I'd had enough, and then it went. So I'm still interested in it long. I missed this one. So it's getting to the point where I'm interested again. So I'm looking for the 72 to hold price. Anywhere in the 72.24 zone is where I like it. So I like it down here. We're not going to get an extension. We got the extension. That was the entry that I missed. We're not going to get the extension, I don't think, on it. So potentially I think this could go from here and at least challenge the highs again. So Aussie New Zealand looks quite nice at the moment. We've just had a reversal alert on it as well. I just like taking stuff extended. It's just not extended. I get the feeling it might get down there as well. Thinking. I mean, the thing that what's going through my mind at the moment with this is this level, and potentially this level. So this is an obvious support, which is basically previous resistance and balance, price discovery, return to balance. Yeah, so this is a nice level we're happily trading at. We got there 3 times and went nope, which gives us our bullish trend. We've made new highs, and we're continuing to make new highs. Potentially this is where we're going to make a new high and challenge the all-time highs again. So the other thing I'm thinking here is we need to come down and take some liquidity, and there are multiple levels to take that liquidity from. And obviously you can see that the moving average, the 24, was flattened. So we are going flat, we are going range bound. Ranges, basically, if they are going to form, if in this case, if the range is going to form, it's likely to be there, in which case what I'm doing is I'm taking a long bang in the middle of the range, which is not what we want to do. So the question is this going to push high, or is this going to go range bound? If so, I'm going to need 1, 2 more entries. So it's only potentially a 3 entry trade, unless I'm wrong, obviously, and then obviously we need to deal with it. But it's a very low ADR pair, and it ties up Aussie and New Zealand exposure, but I've got no Aussie and New Zealand exposure on at all at the moment, and I'm fully exposed on the US, and Aussie US and New Zealand US are 2 that I would probably want to get into, but I'm fully exposed on it anyway, so I might as well take some Aussie and New Zealand exposure on. And we just had a reversal alert on it. So what I think I'm going to do is stick the EA on, and I will get in that one now. So we're up to 11 and 12. Longs, and 0.65. So take first position on that, and just initially going to target those highs, 0.5%. So yeah, like that long. I've been looking for an opportunity to get into it because it's such a beautiful trender. The Aussie is usually in charge. There needs to be something fundamentally wrong with either the Australian or the New Zealand kind of economy for New Zealand dollar to take control, because obviously Aussie is bigger, it's got a better economy, it's a stronger currency. So most of the time we are trending Aussie New Zealand long. And when we get pullbacks, you know, the pullbacks are pretty orderly all the time. You know, there's so much movement on this because it's a bit like the euro pound. It works in the same way. It's push profit all the time. So it's one of those pairs you can get in and out of fairly easily. It's a slow moving, low ADR pair, so the chances of high drawdown are very minimal, but also the rewards are very minimal as well. So planning entries on this, be looking for somewhere around there and somewhere around there if we push down, and then look to get out on the next pullback. Let's say we're always just looking for a pullback. So like that one, Aussie New Zealand, so taking first position on that. I'm long US dollar CAD, Sammy, thinking about removing the position. Yeah, well, my US dollar CAD, as you know, I've been in for ages, because it's just, I've been in it since we've been sideways basically. Just waiting. AN very low ADR. DR says, yeah, yeah, it is a low ADR. But do you know what? So's everything at the minute. When you look at it, 61 ADR, it's not actually massively low, really. It's lower, it's on the lower scale, but there's so much stuff. I mean, look at the US dollar. The US dollar pairs are 80s and 70s. It's just the US dollar's dying. Pound New Zealand used to be 400 ADR. It's 148. Pound yen is the biggest ADR we've got at the moment at 200, which is tiny. The market's so contracted at the minute. So I think you just got to try and get what you can out of what you can at the minute. I don't really like trading Aussie New Zealand. And in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be talking about this. And I'll be saying why on earth did I tie up my money in Aussie New Zealand. Every time I get into Euro Pound, I say exactly the same thing. Why did I tie up my money in that? But reminded me it's because I had US dollar exposure and I wasn't worried about getting into an Aussie New Zealand. So Aussie US short. I'm in too much US, but yeah, you can see we've got 4-hour reverse alert, and again, look, reverse alert followed by a reverse alert means we're in an accumulation. Yeah, so looking for breakouts and within line of your bias, and for me the bias is short at the moment, but that can change obviously. So like this short, market structure is backing that up as well at the moment, although we just had a new high put in there, so we could have a higher low put in. Either way, we should get a move down. But yes, just accumulating, so look for shorts at the highs, longs at the lows. I'll be more inclined to short it though. Pound Swiss made its last push. A shaman told me this. Pound Swiss. Yeah, nice big bullish action coming in there. I've just taken out the Asian lows. Mind you, the Asian low was the end of Asia, so it's not really the Asian low. This is a level they're sweeping. Yeah, reversal alert on this. This could be a beautiful risk-reward trade. I mean, your reward on this, you're going to have to wait a couple of weeks if you want it, but your reward on this is up here, isn't it? If this is that support, multiple touch support, if they are just taking that liquidity from the 4-hour, stop under the low. An hourly reverse alert on this is absolutely spot on. To get an hourly reverse alert on this, you have to have a close above support, and you get a reversal alert. That to me is the trade on the hourly. M15, you're getting in after we've broken support. But either way, big old risk reward there. I wouldn't. That's the sort of type of trade, you know. If I'm looking at my Forex funds account, this is the type of trade that I would take on that account because I'm using a stop. And if I'm going to swing on that account, this is the type of swing trade I'll be looking at. Very low risk, huge reward. I don't look at my Forex funds account when I'm swing trading it very often. I don't swing trade it very often. I do take swing trades in it. The reason I don't is because the swaps with a 100k account, the swaps actually are big. So I don't particularly, I say not that big, but you know, if you're trying to hold stuff for a couple of weeks, it can eat away. But I prefer scalping on it. But that's the sort of trade that I would look to take. Looks good. Aussie US we've covered short. CAD Swiss, no idea. Sideways mess. Range bound. Take trades at the lows. Somewhere. Yeah. If we get somewhere around here, getting long, try and get out somewhere up there, or if you're feeling not so brave, somewhere there. But it's approaching a level where we should be looking for longs on it. CAD long, Swiss long, no directional bias, range bound. CAD yen, really don't know. I'm confused as hell with these yens. They scare me because they've got the strength. Yen always has the power to do this. It's one of the most powerful currencies out there when it powers up, apart from the Swissy. Just don't like it where it is right now. I don't know, so I'm not in. Swiss yen is extended on the 4 hour, so this is a potential shorting opportunity. You've got 3 levels of potential resistance coming up. Actually, that's even better. Look. So big support resistance zone here. We're either going to get that hit and bounce, and that is probably going to be a pullback continuation, but it could be a reversal. It all depends on what they do with the yen. If that short fails, you've got 3 really good levels within 177, 1.5 ADR. So you would only really need to get in 1, maybe 2 more positions. And if they push from here up to there, RSI is going to be out of the chart. But if the yen continues to weaken, you've got that potential squeeze. This is why I really don't know what to do with the yen at the moment, because we've had some ridiculous squeezes on the yen because it's been so weak. Yet since since Kuroda called out that 135 level on the US dollar yen and said 135 is where we want to get to. Remember, we powered to 135, and since we've got there, they haven't had that strength to go any further. So the yen's kind of fighting back, but as I said yesterday or the day before, I don't think it is the yen fighting back. I think it's everything else being weak, and the yen, when it has these little rallies, is way stronger than all the other currencies. So I kind of like this Swiss yen as a long, but I'm really unsure about the yen. So if you want to take this, you're just having a stop hunt right now. Literally just running that liquidity at yesterday's high now, and it looks like we're about to get a bearish engulfing on M15. So looks really good. Reverse alert's far too far away on M15. M5, you're going to get that. Should we take that? Yes, take it. Have I got the exposure? Swiss. I might regret this one, but hey, you only live once. Swiss yen, 15.16. I need to get some exposure on basically on FX because it's just so hard to find opportunities at the minute. Okay, so next reverse alert, short, I'm in. Did put that on short, didn't I? Short orders, yeah. Swiss yen. I'm going to take the next reverse alert on it. So either I'm going to get in, whoa, wrong one. Either I'm going to get in now, or we're going to continue to push. And obviously if we continue to push, there's potentially high of the week before last, or the week before that. So that's not last week's high, the previous week's high, which was a hideous week. That was literally the range for that week. That's the week before's high. So we're either going to do that or we're going to push up, in which case then I'll get in somewhere in here somewhere. And then I'll only need one more position to get up to those highs. If we break those highs, the yen is weak. But looks good. I'm short Swiss, but I'm so overexposed on everything. Oh yeah. Stop being overexposed on everything. So Swiss yen taking first position on that one. Euro odd. I want to find an opportunity to get short on the euro. I'm really undecided on it. I was looking at this one last night. I was watching the telly, looking at this. It really looks like it's contracting nicely. I don't have enough confidence in the Aussie at the minute. The euro obviously is weak, but we're going to need the Australian dollar to push to get the euro down. So I really like this as a short, and it's one of those I would be happy to take in the middle of the range, because I think that really is where we are coming to as a worst case scenario, and that's only half an ADR from where you are at the moment. But I'm really again not sure on it. So euro odd, if you want to take that short, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You've missed the reversal alert on it. You just had one on M15, so potentially, you know, this is the new low, but we only put a double bottom in there, so that's a wedge which should break to the downside, but you're selling straight into potential support. But it all depends how strong that Aussie move can be, or how weak that euro comes out in the next news, and the next news for the euro is not until not even next week. We've got Aussie wages, monetary policy on Aussie, on unemployment. So there's lots of Aussie news next week, which could potentially power up the Aussie. So that looks like a good looking short opportunity, euro odd as well. I'm just about to take some Australian exposure on, aren't I? I have already. I'm long Aussie already, so I'm not going to take that one, but I like that short as well. The monthly AML on the Swiss yen is at 124.030. 142.030. Yeah. Yeah. So there's another confluence, as Stevie's just pointed out. So Swiss yen, we are almost at monthly range. So we got that going for us as well. So extended on the 4 hour. We've got nice resistance, and the monthly range is there. So there's an awful lot of potential technical factors for a short on it. We've also got divergence. It was a really bad drawing, that, wasn't it? So we've got divergence on the RSI as well. So all looking good. I like it. Euro CAD, I like as a short as well. Oh my god. Can't take that one. Yeah, like that short. Euro's contracting. The Euro's doing the same thing across everywhere. The Euro's just contracting. Like I say, ranges are dropping. It's just getting a bit ready to pop. So I like that. Euro Swiss is already gone as a short. I like that as a short, but I haven't had an opportunity to get into it. No pullbacks whatsoever strong enough for me to find an opportunity on it. Euro pound is starting to roll over. The euro is starting to roll over across the board. So this is euro weakness this morning. So yeah, euro pound, nice movement there. Short opportunity potentially. Again, ADR wise, who's short on this? Diamond, you're short on this, aren't you? Yeah, because we were looking at coming back here. So this could be it, guys. This could be the rollover happening now. Hedges me on the pound. But I'm only hedged on the pound because of the US dollar, and the US dollar is not playing ball. So should I take a euro pound short? Oh, that's a tricky one. That doesn't look right. I was going to say, my chart's not right. There we go. I was going to say, that looks really weird. How can M5 be there when M15 is there? Chart's just locked up. Yeah, because I was just going to say, we should be getting we should have had an M5 reversal alert. We're just about to get an M15. That confused me. That hedges me on the pound. And it's tie me up. You see, if I'm going to get into a euro, this is the last euro I want to be in. I like it, but if it goes wrong, as Diamond will confess, you could be stuck in it for days, potentially weeks, looking for 50 pips and just not getting anywhere. So I don't like it from that respect. I like it from a technical perspective, and I think they're going to come down and do that gap and potentially drop further. But there is no strength in the pound. There is no strength in the euro. So you're playing a pair that is just basically sideways at the moment. Very much like the Aussie New Zealand. But I like it as a short. It doesn't fit. There's two reasons I'm not taking it. It doesn't fit my portfolio because I've got short exposure on the pound. If I go short euro pound, I'm longing the pound, which means I'm hedging myself, which is never a good thing. So not for me, but if it fits with your portfolio, do it. I like it. All the euros seem to be rolling. Euro yen is a short as well. What did I just put a pending on? Oh no, I put the EA on Swiss yen short. So there's no point in me taking euro yen short because I'm short Swiss yen. I will be short Swiss yen in a minute. They're the same thing. The euro and the Swissy move in tandem a lot of the time. So I'm on the, but I like this one short as well. M15 reverse alert you've already had yesterday. It's just retested it. You're like literally, 2 pips away from, or 10 pips away from an entry on that. Yeah, Diamond said it's supposed to be a really quick ADR scalp. Yeah, I mean, this is the trouble with ADR scalps. When ADR scalps go wrong, they turn into position trades, which is why I always want to take an ADR scalp in line with whatever my bias is. But when you get these ADR moves that are off of fundamentals, like this one was, you can always tell because there is a propulsion move off of news. These ones, if it's a fundamental shift, which I don't believe it is in this case with the pound really, you quite often get that, and it takes a week or so to happen. It just happens that way. So they either work or they don't, and if they don't, you have to hold them. So feels like if I downloaded Trade Manager on my Mac, it would take off as an airplane. Yeah, probably. We're basically playing who is the weakest. Exactly, Trevor. Yeah, that is exactly what we're playing at the moment. Who is the weakest? The trouble is we've got nobody with any strength whatsoever, and we've got no news catalysts to give us any strength much, apart from potentially the US dollar. So Euro New Zealand, a real mess, absolute mess. Short somewhere up there, long somewhere down there at the moment. Bias shorter rather than long. It's not giving you really any range to play with, so you've got a potential of a 200 pip move. It's just not worth trading at the moment. This one, you bang in the middle of the range. It's just a nightmare. Euro US dollar shorts. Euro's weakening ahead of potential US dollar strength this afternoon. Probably a good time to get in today. A mess. Reversal alert has happened during Asia. We had the M15 yesterday. As you can see, obviously, that indicates we're in a range. Worst case scenario on this, if we have weak US dollar news, you're probably coming somewhere up into here. So if you get in now, it's less than half an ADR before you would need to take a second position on it. So you probably want to have two close together and then spread them out if US dollar for any reason really weakens. Swiss yen reversal just hit, yep. Short on that. I guess there's your reversal alert entry with the EA. So the pounds, I'm short all the pounds from a fundamental perspective, looking for an opportunity to get in short on the pound. The pound US that I've got on, obviously I'm long on the pound based on US dollar strength. So pound US dollar, I'm short on the pound at the moment based on some US dollar strength, but equally if the pound wants to weaken, that's fine too. But any pup into any area for shorts on the pound is good. So pound odd, pound CAD, any moves up. This is a lovely entry last week. We had RSI extension in the 4 hour, so looks good. Pound Swiss we just discussed. Pound yen, whoops, no idea. No idea. Again, pound yen. If it's extended on RSI, we know we've had a decent move, which is why I'm in the Swiss yen. So I'm against my bias on the Swiss franc, but it is extended. So if it's extended up there, I'll be interested. But at the moment on the yens, if it's just flatlining, I'm not interested in any of them. Pound New Zealand, like it's short. I want it extended. That was the entry last week. Pound US, I am short. This is taking forever to go anywhere at all. Sammy, you've hedged yourself on the Aussie. Oh well. Not the end of the world. If you're hedged, one's going to work and one isn't, basically. So, most of the time. So, if you know, one of those trades is going to play out and one of those you're going to have to manage. New Zealand dollar CAD, longest flag in the world, as I've said before, waiting for it to break on Canadian dollar strength. Oil is dropping, Canadian dollar is weakened, therefore we are just flagging. There's no strength in the New Zealand dollar, so it's basically doing a little bit of movement ahead of the next leg down, but nothing's moving, so flag looking for shorts. So if you want to take a short on that, yeah, I mean anywhere. Where we are now actually is not a bad spot from a technical perspective. I mean anywhere from there really. I mean this is it's just a mess. You know, from these lows, you know, there's so many places it's hit in this area. This is roughly where I'd expect to drop from, but you know, it's just not getting the drops at the moment because there's no strength in the CAD. So if it was extended, I'd be interested. I'm not. Sideways mess. New Zealand yen, no clue. New Zealand US shorts, but again, sideways. I feel like this is what I was saying last week. I think if we went back to one of last week's live rooms, I'm pretty sure I'm just repeating myself because everything is in the same spot. US dollar CAD, looking for those longs. Again, you know, we are stuck. at the moment. Every time it gives us a glimmer of hope, I get out. I've been milking those and taking some profits off. I took some nice profit off there. I think then for me, the next push up, I'm probably, in fact, I'm going to put my TPs in place now. Whoops, to exit this. I've had enough of this. If we can get an ADR push. Saying that, we've got news, haven't we? I've got my pound US dollar on. I'm going to, because the Canadian dollar's weak, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit this one. So that gets me out of US dollar CAD, basically. If we get an ADR push off the news today, I'm done with that. I've had enough. We're just not going anywhere. There's not enough strength in the US dollar. There's not enough strength in the CAD. There's just not enough strength anywhere. So I just want to be out of it. It's not moving enough, apart from on news, to give opportunities to get money out. So I'm going to get out of that one, which means I'll have my pound US dollar. So I still have US dollar exposure on the pound, and that one, if the US dollar strengthens up, I'm getting out of one there, and then I've only got a few positions for a drop. I've got more of a bias short on the pound at the moment. Got quite a bit of buying coming in on the indices at the minute. The US dollar CAD and US dollar Swiss. So US dollar Swiss potentially an area to start looking for long opportunities down here. But again, I just don't like it. It's just not moving far enough and fast enough for me. And US dollar yen, don't know. Confusion.com. We're just stuck in the middle of nowhere at the moment. So that's it. So we're getting a bit of a push up on the DAX and all the indices. We just had a bit of a buying spree come in. Let's check the news. No news. Don't know what that was, but little bit of a spurt on the indices. Only up to the Asian high, so it's just up to the Globex highs, so it's not really going anywhere. If you look at this on a footprint chart, all we've done there is false breakout, so likelihood is we're just going to pull back into there somewhere. So that's it for today. EG finally moving, seeing some green, excellent. I'm scalping Aussie dollar long against New Zealand. Swing trading short Aussie CAD. Yeah, that's, if you're scalping, you're not really hedged with those. But yeah, I like Aussie New Zealand from here. As I say, I don't mind if it comes down to here. I'm not worried really if we break this 72. It's going to take a lot to get down there. We'll be extended, and in which case then we'll get that pullback. It's just so orderly, this thing, even when it squeezes, you know, it's just really easy to get in and out of Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. But you'll find that low ADR pairs they always are, because they don't move a great deal. They have to move because there's money being transacted in them, so you get that nice movement, but the reward is low, which is why you see a lot of these EAs out there that try and scalp really fast in and outs. They're trading Aussie CAD or Aussie New Zealand, Euro Pound. They're trading all of these tight little pairs with kind of hedging strategies, trying to milk bits of money out of them, but then when they get those squeezes, they get popped. But yeah, so that's my long on there. So there's my exposure now. Everything's in Aussie New Zealand, Pound US, US CAD, Swiss yen, oil long, DAX short. Sit, wait. Hopefully news will do that for us. So 1:30 this afternoon is when it's going to start to kick off. EG, yeah, some decent movement on that one. When we get that reversal on the M15, we need to see some action, but you know, this level at ADR today, if you got some that you can take off there, I would take it, because if you just look what's been happening, we want to get this propulsion gap at least tapped into halfway, but that's going to take quite a big move, and we've got no catalysts for that today, so may get the move. We've got to get that reversal in first. Aussie CAD bearish price action on 4 hour. Yeah, very. That's the one I said about earlier, remember? Since we had those wicks put in, we've just been putting in wick after wick after wick after wick. John Wick entered the building. Really like it up there, Aussie CAD short. May the force be with us all. Oh, maybe the luck be with us all. Yeah, okay, so that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. I'll post in the Telegram group if I'm getting out of any positions, but you can see everything that I'm in. Just playing the waiting game at the moment, waiting for stuff to move, and hopefully that 130 catalyst today is going to be where we start to shake it up a little bit, but it's been flat as a pancake for the last week, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but much rather have a bit of movement, and then I will reduce my risk down on oil and the DAX basically when we get some movement starting. So, all right, guys. So hopefully you have a good one. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. I'll be in there, and anything you're looking to get into. But otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time, and have a good day. I'll see you then.